Okay. And we are
live.
Alive and alive.
Well,
Jolly good. Splendid.
Yes. Yeah, well, I'm not going to talk very long about anything else today except our gorgeous guest, Mark Cave, he's behind the velvet rope at the moment. We like to keep them roped up, so we're ready to let them go.
She's only one drink down.
Oh, folks. Yeah, only one, but cheers.
So,
here's to another Tuesday.
Here's to Tuesday, indeed.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers, chaps. So today's guest is an old friend of ours from King's Lynn. We used to run around in a gang in Norfolk, which is about 100 miles north of London. And Martz, can you turn that volume down up there? Thank you very much. I can hear myself twice and nobody needs to even hear me once. Yeah. So we used to run around in a gang together and recently reconnected through the LinkedIns and the Facebooks of the world. And he and I, as it turns out, both moved from England to America and got into the digital, shall I say, software and marketing business. And Mark is the inventor and founder of an app called FAVEme. It's scrolling across the bottom. I would encourage you to
scrolling check out. Across my bottom.
I don't think Jade would like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so without further ado, I will let Mark explain what FAVEme is. But if you eat food, make food, or sell food, or like food, you're going to want to hear this. So, and the crowd goes wild. Big round of applause for, all the way from Florida, Mr. Mark Cave. Welcome.
Hello.
Sweet.
Hello, darling.
Hello. I should probably qualify it so that when you said it was gang in Norfolk, it wasn't exactly like gangs in New York, was it?
Oh no,
it was just a bunch of young soaks at a wine bar.
Yeah.
Yes, Antonio's, as I remember.
Oh, that's
Antonio's,
right.
Yeah. Apparently, he was married to an Italian heiress, and he didn't need to be running the wine bar at all.
I did not know that.
Really?
Yeah, I just found that out. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Thank heavens he did, because we used to. That's where we all sort of met and formed this team of professional party animals, and went from there to the Wens. Do you remember the Wens?
Yeah.
And what was the name of that pub out in the country we all used to meet for Sunday lunch, run by a really nice couple? She was a blonde sort of Marilyn Monroe wannabe. Gosh, it'll come to me eventually.
No,
anyway.
You lost me.
Yeah.
You lost me. But then you invited me out to see California in 1984.
That's right. You stayed with us.
If you look at my Facebook age, you'll realize I was 12 at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I may have wound it back a little bit. Just once. You can only wind it back once. That's a helpful tip.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You get one go at winding your age back.
One job. Yeah.
One Tinder, Facebook age wind back, and then you're done. You can't try it. So there you go.
My grandmother, her mother used to actually lie about her age upwards in the opposite direction. Which was very smart, if you think about it, because people say, "My God, how old are you?" I'm 78, and she was 72. They'd be like, "Wow, you look amazing for
great for 78." I know I told you I was 93, but I'm only 64. Really?
She really is.
I got picked out as the old guy in the party just last earlier the week. So it's all going wrong. Yeah, somebody thought I was freeloading on a yacht, and somebody just assumed that I was the owner. Just comes up to me in the restaurant. "Oh, you're on this lovely yacht. This is yours." No. I'm just the loser guest. That's the owner, the young guy over there.
So where on earth were you, and where are you? In Florida again? You're back home now.
Yeah, I think it's why it sort of sums up why we went to Florida in the first place. It's just trigger pulling, I think. So we were out for dinner on the Thursday and met for the first time some lovely people. Won't mention their names, because probably a good idea for them.
They're wanted.
Met some lovely people, a lovely couple, and we were all getting on famously. And they said, "We're on a yacht next week in Antigua. Do you want to come?" And we said, Jade and I looked at each other and said, how dumb would you have to be to give up that kind of invitation? So bang.
Nice.
So, and Ruth can attest, because yesterday when we did a little sort of screen test, I was looking decidedly yachty. It's like shaved for a week.
He was doing his best Jimmy Buffett impersonation yesterday.
Yeah, desperate for my first shower. But other than that, it's fine.
Cheers. Cheers.
Yes.
I hope that's Mrs. McCartney's tea you're drinking in there.
Oh, absolutely. Of course
Not
it is.
Not rosé at all.
No, mine's not rosé at all either.
No, it's McCartney's teas all the way.
All
Yeah.
the way. So how did you, when we actually, Martin and I came to see you when you were still living on the left coast, you had a beautiful office in Beverly Hills and you were running, I think you were just starting Reputation Defender, weren't you?
Yeah, Reputation Reviews.
Oh.
Yeah.
Reputation Reviews.
Yeah,
Right.
So it was sort of. I mean, I started a company that went huge very fast, and then it's one of those lessons where if you don't completely have control of the board, you can get into trouble. And all of the other people just wanted to sell, and I just kept saying, "How about the product, guys?"
Yeah.
So we were, I think, the fastest growing company on the fastest growing company list 3 years in a row, something like that. So it's quite an achievement. And then it all hit the wall, which is a bit of a shame. But in that process, I was lucky to have some really great chairmen. One of them was a guy called Donato Marinari, and he was the guy. He was the sort of the head of Yellow Pages for Bell Atlantic. He is actually responsible for the Verizon. It merged Bell Atlantic with GTE. And he's a remarkable guy. And he said, what you've got to sell is you've got to sell something that's oxygen. If you're selling to small businesses, it's got to be something that is vital. In their day, Yellow Page listings were absolutely vital. If you didn't have a Yellow Page ad, you were basically out of business. And now it's kind of SEO and it's visibility online, etc. But what is perhaps most vital is being found is one thing, right? But if what they find is a bunch of low ratings, that's a tragedy, because you'll never get the phone call, you'll never get the click, etc. If your Google rating is 3.8 and your Yelp rating is 3 stars, you can forget all the money you spend on advertising budget. It's a waste of money. So figuring out how to legally and responsibly, but permanently raise a small business's reputation, particularly restaurants, is a very important thing. Right. So that's what we started then.
I see. And so the idea is, just generally the overview is you can have all of the ad placements that you want, but if people then flock to what other people think, birds of a feather flock together. And if the crowd says you're a loser and your restaurant it sucks, they're just not even going to try, right?
Yeah, and most of the time it's very unfair. People post horrendous 1-star reviews, etc., because they think they can just bash a business. And it was a lovely line in a movie. I think it was Meg Ryan or something. She said, you said it's just business, it's not personal. And she said, well, it's my business, so it's personal to me.
Exactly.
And people bash a business with 1-star ratings and don't realize that business, took blood and guts and heart and soul to build, and trashing it with low ratings can be really, 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 hurtful and damaging, and especially when it's not warranted. When it's warranted, fair enough. Nobody's perfect. Everybody should get the occasional 1-star. Not everybody's happy all of the time, but sometimes you get disgruntled employees that will crowdsource a bunch of their friends to bash a business with a stream of 1-star reviews, and it's important that those get taken down. So when we are going to put a business on FAVE, before a business goes onto the app these days, obviously we want to make sure that our users are going to experience a quality experience. So the businesses that are there have to be, to a certain degree, qualified. And when we go and find a business that is a good business, it should be on FAVE, but the ratings don't reflect that. Well, we go back to our old skill of reputation and reviews, and we fix up their ratings first.
I see. So in other words, I mean, it's restaurants, but it could be pet groomers or dental people or anybody that would be on
anything.
Anybody that would be on Yelp, for example. So
I mean, if you look on FAVEme, you'll see, I think you saw, we got sort of like, free teeth whitening from various dentists and stuff like that. So a lot of dentists use us. We have car repair places, etc. But mostly, ratings probably affect the hospitality industry more than anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
And so let's say I'm a restaurant, because there's all different kinds of restaurants. Let's say I'm not a celebrity chef necessarily, but a 4-star, 5-star, or I'm chasing a Michelin star and I'm doing high-end gourmet and I'm a local celebrity. I don't want to do Groupon, and I don't want to do a bunch of coupons. How does FAVEme sort of solve that conundrum of you need to fix your ratings, but you need also referrals and more business because you're expensive and because you're a tasting menu, let's say. How does FAVEme help in that scenario as opposed to like a pizza joint?
Yeah, it's a very good point, because a problem that a high-end restaurant has is how it markets itself. If it advertises too much in a broadcast, it cheapens its brand. So what FAVEme does is our little pattern that we're rather proud of is when I'm on the app and you're a friend of mine on the app. Let's say I've got an offer on the app, right? In order for me to get that offer, like let's say it's a free tasting or a couple of glasses of champagne with on my next visit, or a complimentary dessert or something like that, and the business says, be so kind as to scan this QR code, or after your visit you get a little text that says thanks for visiting, click here to get our reward, right? I get the reward in the app, and in order to use it, I share it to get it. So I click the little button and I pick a friend that I'm going to share it with.
I see. So in other words, you're not just handing out rewards for the sake of. That person who receives it has to recommend that restaurant and the reward to a friend before they can redeem it.
Exactly. So it's a recommendation engine. And anybody that's been in the hospitality business knows that there is nothing more powerful in marketing for a restaurant than the recommendation of a friend.
Absolutely.
In fact, in any marketing, I mean, you sort of like, if you're driving down the freeway and you see, Mission Impossible, by this time, Mission Impossible 18 or some sort, and it's a big splashy billboard, you may or may not go see the movie. But if your friend says, I just commented, that's awesome, have you seen that movie? I'm probably going to run out and see it. So the recommendation of a friend trumps everything.
Right. I used to call it word of mouth back in the day when we were doing music. Music recommendations, because, if I'm a progressive trad jazz fan and I'm going to tell 5 of my friends because I know they are too, they're going to listen to me over any billboard or radio ad. And so now, let's say I'm, a 4-star, 5-star restaurant, but I've got some diners in who didn't understand what I was doing with my degustation and my asparagus flavored foam over an ostrich egg full of, whatever. And they just thought it was nonsense, or they didn't understand it, or they just don't have the palate. And they go on Yelp, let's say, for example, and they just put 1-star load of rubbish. How does FAVEme help in that situation?
Well, first thing is, chances are they'll never get to Yelp because or Google or anywhere, because that little text that guests get the next day, it says, thank you so much for visiting, please tell us how we did, right? And they click on the link, and we'll thank you for your time and trouble with our offer of 2 glasses of champagne, a free dessert, whatever it may be, whatever the restaurant owner chooses to offer. So I click on the link and I go to a survey page and I deliver my feedback via the survey page. I click 1, 2, 3, or 4 stars, whatever. I click that, a comment box opens up. I write my comment. I push the review us button, and that comment goes directly to the restaurant owner. Whatever my rating may be, whether I rated you 4 stars, 5 stars, or 1 stars, whatever my rating is, I get my phone goes ping and it says, thank you so much. Here's your little reward. And it's the 2 glasses of champagne, etc. So the restaurant here's the negative comments privately. It's got my name and my phone number on it because I put my name and phone number in so I can get my reward via text.
Okay.
And the restaurant owner now has my name and my phone number. I'm going to call me and say, Mark, I'm so sorry you had a terrible time. Let me make it up to you. Let me give you a free tasting next time. By the way, the ostrich egg was off. We discovered it later, whatever it may be,
Right.
And so at least and 99.9% of customers are just happy to be heard. When they write a negative review, they just want to know that the restaurant owner heard their dissatisfaction. So if they get an immediate text or phone call that says, I'm so sorry, that takes all the wind out of that sale.
And so indeed,
as a reward that, they're going to share with a friend.
And so if I push a 5-star, then I'm given the opportunity to really extrapolate and review the restaurant in a public forum.
Yeah, if I select 5 stars, then the restaurant has the opportunity to send that 5-star commenter to whichever, it can send the commenter to its own reviews page on their website, or it can, land them at Google or Yelp, wherever they wish to land them.
TripAdvisor too? Do you guys?
Yeah, TripAdvisor, Google, Yelp, their own website, into their own comment box, however they wish to gain that 5-star feedback and display. They can choose to send it wherever they want. The only difference is the 1, 2, 3, and 4-star comments. Those go into your email box privately, and you have an opportunity to make the customer happy. So what you get is it's kind of a triage.
It's a concierge. It's kind of like the doorman at a Fifth Avenue New York apartment, whether he lets you through to the elevator or sends you to reception to register your complaint, right? You're the concierge doorman sort of thing, right?
Yeah, or it's like another manager that listens to the complaint and does something about it. So, right. But, again, the advantage of FAVE is that when I have shared something with somebody at one time on the app, I am now connected with that person as a friend on FAVE. Personally, I've got like 198 people I've shared stuff with before, because I've got 198 gifts before. So every time I get a gift, in order to use it, I've got to share it to get it. So I share it. So I've got 198 friends. So now if I walk into your restaurant and I get your reward, I'll share it to get it with somebody via text, right? It says, hey, I like this place. You'll like it too. I got 10% off here. You will too. That little text goes out to them. But my 198 friends automatically get every reward that I get.
I see. So you become, in other words, as the foodie within FAVEme, you become a social influencer, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a sort of like a maven or something, right? So my 198 friends get the same rewards that I get. And when it hits their account, of course, it automatically shares to all of their FAVE friends. And when it hits their account, it automatically shares to all their FAVE friends. So sometimes you can give a reward to one person and 1,000 customers show up. So
it's a bit like the flu.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to say that thanks to COVID, people understand what we're doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Yes, no, absolutely. And so that's fascinating. And I assume the same principle on the back end in the technology with the share and share alike works if you're a pizza joint. Let's say I want to say free slice of pizza or free soda with a $15 or $20 purchase. I can just sign up for FAVEme, right? On not necessarily, I don't want my review. I don't care about my reviews because I'm running a busy sandwich shop or whatever, and people are going to Yelp, people are going to do them, and I don't care. So, but with your viral rewards program, I don't have to sign up for the concierge, right? I can just do the viral coupon bit.
Yeah, you can use FAVEme as sort of viral coupons. So you can use FAVEme simply to multiply customers, to turn one customer into 1,000 customers. And there's no charge for all of the viral shares. There's no charge whatsoever. Or you can use FAVEme to, triage your reviews first. And deliver the same coupon. So you can use it in one of two flavors, either reviews and recommendations, or just recommendations.
I see.
Most of the businesses that you'll see on FAVEme are, in fact, just businesses that are just busy doubling their customer base by giving people a little QR code to scan in their restaurant. Says, please come back again. We'd love to give you a little loyalty reward. Scan it and get it and share it with a friend too.
Right.
And most
And
of them
so-
are doing that. But those, as I said at the start, those that need help first with their rating, there's a few of them on there that we're fixing their rating first, and then they can be busy just multiplying customers.
Got it. And so if I'm, let's say, a pizza shop and somebody comes in and either redeems a reward or writes a review, how does FAVEme charge the restaurant? How do you make money to run this software empire?
Where it's a bit like Earl Scheib. Do you remember him? I'll paint that car for $99.95. So we're $1.99.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if somebody scans the QR code and then posts, delivers a feedback / review, it's about $1.99.
Okay.
When they recommend it to a friend of theirs, it's $1.99. When that text goes from me to you that says, "Hey, I'm in this place. I love it. You will do too. I got 10% off here. You do too." That we charge $1.99 for that text. When that reward then shares to their friends and their friends' friends and their friends' friends' friends, there's no charge for that.
Oh,
But
that's free. That's viral.
Yeah, it's completely free. Viral stuff is all free. It doesn't matter if it shares to 10 friends or 10,000 friends. It's all free. But when somebody comes in and redeems a reward, in other words, when we've delivered you a new customer that comes in to pay you, then after they've redeemed their reward, the next month we invoice $1.99 for that event. Somebody's come in as a new customer, they paid you, they've got their little discount or whatever, and the next month we're going to invoice you $1.99.
Wow, which is a pretty low customer acquisition cost when you look at the figures. I was pulling numbers for a client in our ad portal the other day, and you look at something like, a big company like, I don't know, Coca-Cola, whatever, they're spending $1 billion a year in advertising to get new customers or retain current customers. That's the other thing I'm thinking out loud. But FAVEme not just gets new customers, but every time you open the app, all these restaurants that your friends and friends and friends recommend become top of mind. And so it's like a free ad banner, isn't it? If it's gone viral, it's because top of mind is another thing people forget. Unless you rinse and repeat and keep marketing and keep advertising and pushing out messaging, people will just move on. They forget about you, don't they?
I mean, how many times have you had that same experience? I used to do that all the time when I used to live in Studio City. I would be scratching my head going, where are we going for dinner? And I would try to visualize Ventura Boulevard, and I couldn't, in my mind's eye, I couldn't see a single restaurant on there.
Yeah.
But only when I went out, I went, oh, damn it. Yeah, there's this place, that place, the other, but I forgot.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's a cluttered mind, but yeah, it's nice.
No, I mean, it's the same with any restaurant, Ro. And I would imagine anybody, all the convention crowds visiting convention cities like Las Vegas and San Diego, they don't necessarily know the area. And what they do is go on Yelp and they steer clear of the places with the low reviews, which may not be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's when we fix ratings, we increase revenues by 9 to 10%. Gross revenue increase 9 to 10%. When we add that with recommendations, the gross revenue increase is 15%.
Wow.
So it's significant.
It's really sort of a little social community that is not as wide and messy and ugly as Facebook, because it's just you and your friends, isn't it?
Yeah, and their friends, and then their friends, and then their friends. So it's very viral, but it does work slightly on birds of a feather. It's one of the expressions you used earlier: birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
If I am
and fools never differ.
Yeah, that's what my father used to say. I used to say, "Great minds think alike, Dad," and he said, "Yeah, fools never differ." But then, he's always been a bit critical. But yeah, I mean, if I'm a foodie and I'm at your gourmet restaurant, the person I'm going to recommend you to is likely to be a foodie.
Right.
So
that's great. Well, you know,
it's probably too, you know.
Between my chef Rolodex and connections and gourmetnft.io and gourmetnft.com, and you know, I've given up on rock stars and pop stars and idolizing people. I've never been into sports, and now I'm just a foodie fan. I'm like, you know, a chef wannabe. So I will certainly go through my Rolodex and introduce them to my friend Mark.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're
Just
very
helpful.
happy with. I had a chap call me up. I won't mention his name because it's, you know, we tend to be a little bit cautious about or confidential about the people whose reputations we fix. But this chap is he's actually a food truck in LA, and he put me through hell at the start. He said, "You can't possibly do this. You can't possibly do that." And I said, "Well, actually, we've been doing it 17 years, and I promise you we can." And he called me out of the blue, which is particularly sweet because there was no reason for his call other than to say, "I just want to say, you know, 8 months ago, I gave you a whole bunch of shit about, you know, this, that, and the other because I was skeptical. And I got to tell you, you did everything that you said you were going to do. And I just want to say, you know, thank you and all that sort of stuff." So it was really sweet because nobody takes the time to actually do that.
Yeah.
And that was utterly charming.
Yeah, no, we do. We write thank you letters and stick them in the mail to people.
Blimey, that's old school. That's lovely too.
Yeah, no, it means so much that somebody took the time to think, not just think on and have the thought, oh, I must ring or email or text or write to so-and-so, but they actually do it. I think, you know what was funny? This year, I've still got to throw them away. I'm sort of sentimental. We got more Christmas cards in the mail this past Christmas than we have in
5 years,
5
probably.
or 6 years. And I think that was COVID, you know, COVID sort of, people really want to be together. And I don't know the numbers, but I'm willing to bet the Christmas card industry took a boost last year.
I don't know because I keep moving, so nobody knows where to send this stuff to.
I was just going to mention that actually. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I was on the road in COVID, so we, you know.
That's right. So you and Jade, tell us that story. So you decided you'd had enough of California, and you got on the road and just sort of wandered around like nomads, didn't you?
Well, yeah. When you're in the you know, restaurant marketing business, there's not a whole lot to do in a pandemic, you know. And it was getting all a little bit fractious and dull in LA, and you know, and all of my friends had sort of pretty much moved, and we had come to Florida, and just it was weird. We saw everybody was bloody, you know, kite surfing and windsurfing and rollerblading and yachting and all that sort of crazy stuff. So we just sort of scratched our heads and said, "Wow, everybody's having fun here." So we thought, well, you know, let's move. So we rented our house out to a rather suspicious young lady who seemed to be paying us in, you know, Ziploc bag, $100 bills. But you know, she was like 24 years old and blonde and just mega rich and preferred to pay in cash. So hey ho.
Did you ask her what her OnlyFans URL was?
No. I don't think that's what she was doing, but yeah. So, but we shoved a whole bunch of Ziploc bags into the glove compartment of a little Audi S5 convertible and buggered off across the country. Nice. So yeah, it was a lot of fun actually. We spent 3 months in Alabama, which is very weird but quite charming. In an artist's enclave called Fairhope, which is actually probably as pretty as Sonoma, California. And, it's very, very weird. But we had a lovely time. And then
is the moonshine as good in Sonoma though?
Well, I don't think they sold it. Not in Fairhope. It was all sort of like olive oil and gourmet coffees.
Oh, I see.
Pistachio
toast.
Just me to find the only snooty place in all of Alabama. But yeah, so yeah.
But you always were a bit posh, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark is our posh friend, and you tell the folks who you went to school with.
Go on, name drop.
No.
Oh, go on.
I didn't go to school with. Were you in Branson?
No. Oh, Branson.
No, what do you mean Branson? No.
Excuse me.
The other one.
The royal one.
The royal one.
Oh no, I didn't go to. My little brother went to school with Edward. You mean? Oh, you're talking about me going with Diana?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. There's
I didn't know whether I should say Princess Diana on there.
Silfield Primary School in Kings Lynn. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Diana Spencer and me. Yeah,
the little.
We used to rock up to Anmore Hall in my friend John's John Player special black Capri 3 liter with the Go Faster stripe around the outside and say, "Do you want to come to a party?" And she get, no, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Spinning
funny.
gravel in Anmore.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But yeah, no.
Those were the
I'm
days.
now in
Well,
Florida.
yeah, and you're now in Florida, and yes, God rest her soul. Let's drink
yeah.
let's drink a
Yeah.
tea to Princess Di.
Yeah.
They'll never make another one like her.
no.
No, they won't.
I
No.
remember being terribly impressed when I met you about that whole who your family knew and went to school with, and the fact that the farmers and the do the family still want you to come home to Norfolk and be
I
like
think they're
the
quite
gentry?
glad that I think they're quite glad that I'm here and unable to ask too many pointed questions about what's going on with the farm money and what's happened to my shareholding and all that sort of stuff. I think they're probably happier that I'm quite an ocean away, I think.
No, dear. So you
But,
and Jay,
I do miss Norfolk and I do miss them, but not as much, not enough to go back.
and dig turnips. No.
No, you do right now. I just saw that apparently in the UK, is about 15% more people are choosing to go back to work in the office because it's too bloody cold in their houses because they can't afford to heat them, and it's a cold snap, I think. And I'm sitting here in Florida,
with no pants on.
What?
Oh, with no pants on.
I actually have pants on. It's an unusual interview. I dressed for it.
Okay.
But yeah, so no, I don't think there's any big desire to go back for either of us. I doubt. But yeah, it's a lovely place to visit. I'll always be very, very fond of England, very, very much.
Well, the good thing about you living on the East Coast now is it's not quite such the schlep when you do want to go home. You shave about 5 hours off the journey, don't you?
Yeah, it's not so much. It's just like I tell you what, the difference is the difference is in phone communication. It's just like it was always the hardest thing is I'm just starting my work day and they're just knocking off.
Yeah.
There's something about that 3-hour difference makes a huge amount of difference.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier on the East Coast. And I can't find it. I think it's more fun too. I'm not knocking California. I had a lot of fun. God say I stayed there 30 years.
Yes.
Really?
According to Facebook, like 20 something, but actually I stayed there 30 years.
Well, probably our fault.
It showed up in 1990. So there you go.
Well, Martin came in at the end of 91 and we're still here. We did a stint in Nashville after the Northridge earthquake. We took off and wrote songs in Nashville on Music Row for 3.5 years and then came back. But look, I mean, I think it's a true testament to what a great country America is, that it will welcome not only the poor and huddled masses, but characters like the three of us, Scousers and posh people.
A friend of mine just became a citizen, and he's all happy that he's got his passport, and he just came through Florida recently, and it brought back all of the memories that I had when I got my citizenship, and it was such a heart swelling day for me. It was just massive. It was here is a country that says come in, and with the most lovely, warm welcome that any country has ever given anybody. It's just honestly that there is not a place like this. I
quite agree.
The welcome when we just came back the other day. We just came back from 2 days ago. We come back and the immigration guy says, whatever's the immigration officer says, welcome back, Mr. Cave. Did you have a nice time? Are you happy to be home? I mean, just like kind of positivity and warmth. That's why I think we all live here. It's because it's just a great country.
Yes, it still is, and it's still the great shining city on the hill for many people. Did you know that the American Dream was actually a marketing slogan that was cooked up by an ad agency in the 1950s?
No, that sort of makes sense. That and Santa.
Yeah, that's right.
Now that's when ad agencies were ad agencies.
Yes, back in the Mad Men days.
Don't start me off about ad agencies.
I think AI programmed by millennials is writing ad copy these days. Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
exactly. Don't get me started. Well, this has been a fabulous. I know you're a busy man with 3,600 restaurants breathing down your neck, or not, because the app is working great. Thank you so much for this time, and I will share this with my foodie friends and my restaurant friends. And I would encourage anybody that's watching, go to the App Store and or the Play Store and download FAVEme. There's a few more new widgets and things coming soon. You told me this morning you're adding a few more features, right?
Yeah. We're giving restaurants the ability to update the users if they've got their reward, to just send them a little ping notification that says, by the way, we're adding this, that, and the other. So we're allowing restaurants to sort of the ability to nudge, if you will.
Yes.
Very gently via notifications sent through the app. And I think that could be very huge for them, just to drive more users back into, hey, by the way, did you remember that you've got 25% off? That kind of thing.
Right.
So
well, and also
a lot of stuff going.
People are still doing, old traditional marketing and social media, but you don't know where your platform is or you don't know who your users are. I think email marketing is very important. We do a bunch of email marketing for our clients, but SMS marketing and touch points are still a bit of a mystery. So I think FAVEme, having cracked that, being able to text people who've opted in, I think is huge, because that's, the reaction is, if you get a text, you don't always check your email every 5 minutes, but if your text goes ping, you look at it.
If you've got a little in-app notification, there's a little ping and a number 1 pops up on the corner of the little icon, and it says, by the way, you've got an extra 10% off this weekend, that kind of thing. So it's hugely powerful and nice for the user. So it's always about trying to balance what's great for the user, making sure that the more friends they have on the app, the more free stuff they get. And the more they share, the more friends they have, so the more stuff they get. It's all about, it's a very loving proposition from a user perspective. But again, if we can assist restaurants, especially these days, if we can assist restaurants, to deliver a customer for $1.99, fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Barbara, for your comment. Barbara George is saying she can't wait to share this with her favorite restaurants. If they have any questions or anything, Barbara, just, stick them in touch with me, or they can go to FAVEme.com, and there's a contact button there. And Mark on Instagram is FAVEcave. I was thinking this morning, do you have to have like 1 syllable, 4-letter words to be like Mark Cave, Jade Cave, Fave Cave?
It's funny. So Jade is an artist, and people say, "Oh, so that's your artist name?" She says, "No, I married that name."
Yes. Jade Cave.
But, I'm not. So the contact page at FAVEme, I don't know about that, but info@faveme.com will always get us.
There you go.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Or you can messenger me or ping me, or I'm very findable. I'm Ruth@McCartney.com. Not hard to find. Indeed. Well, thanks so much for your time. Great seeing you. Welcome home from London Christmas and Antigua yachting, you poor boy.
Name dropper.
It's a rough
it's living life to the full on a budget. But it was lovely to see you both, and thank you very much.
Too,
Absolutely. And we will see you soon. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye.